You're about to see 8 of the dumbest things passengers have ever done on cruise ships, caught on camera. From a woman pepper spraying a crew member on Valiant Lady to guests throwing furniture into the sea just for laughs. These are the viral moments cruise lines wish never happened. Every one of them started the same way. One bad decision, one loud crowd, and a camera that never blinks. By the end, you'll see how fast a fun night at sea turns into headlines, bans, and body cams. So buckle in, because this isn't your average cruise recap. It's a highlight reel of what not to do when the ocean's your neighbor and everyone's watching. Number 1. Chemical attack at sea. October 4th, 2024, Key West, Florida. It started as another neon-soaked night on the Valiant Lady. Music spilling from the club, guests weaving down corridors with half-finished drinks. Around midnight, near Deck 6, a janitorial cart set by a stateroom. Nothing unusual. A crew member bent down to rearrange supplies. Then, in a blur of laughter and movement, one passenger crouched, grabbed a spray bottle, and fired. The mist hit straight into the crew member's eyes. She stumbled back, blinking hard, palms pressed to her face as the chemical burned. Witnesses froze. A friend hissed, "We're gonna get in trouble," while trying to pull the group away. Security arrived within seconds. The music didn't stop. The DJ kept spinning, but in the background, radios clicked alive. Code words, medical dispatch, the kind of behind-the-scenes coordination you only notice when something goes wrong. By dawn, the party lights had given way to flashing police strobes at the Key West pier. Officers boarded with body cams rolling, interviewing witnesses who described a drunk woman with a bottle taken from a cleaning cart. The suspect sat wide-eyed and trembling, saying, "I don't do that," as cuffs closed around her wrists. The crew member, treated overnight, was sent ashore for further care. It was all over TikTok before breakfast. The arrest, the disbelief, the comments ranging from "that's wild" to "she deserves it." But the lesson is quieter than the headlines. Ships are workplaces before they are playgrounds. Every crew member is part of a safety web that keeps thousands afloat and fed. Hurt one, and the ripple spreads through medical logs, reports, and court dockets. What happened on Deck 6 wasn't just a party mistake. It was a felony at sea. The music fades, the hangover hits, and the only souvenir left is a case file stamped "aggravated battery." Because on the ocean, every bad decision has a wake, and it always catches up by morning. Number 2. Deck 11 jump for clout. Early morning light hits the balconies of Symphony at Seas in January 2019. The water below is calm, glassy, and dangerously inviting. A 27-year-old passenger steps over the railing, phone cameras already pointed at him. His friends cheer, voices shaky with the mix of fear and excitement that always precedes something stupid. He balances on the white awning just below the balcony, stretches his arms wide, and hesitates for half a second. Just enough time for someone to say, "Bro, don't!" But he jumps. The splash is small, but the fallout is massive. Within seconds, alarms sound. Security rushes to the rail. The bridge logs a potential man overboard call, one of the most serious alerts a cruise ship can issue. Procedures trigger automatically. Confirm the splash, count passengers, prepare recovery teams. The man surfaces, whooping like a champion, unaware that every officer on board now has his cabin number and that the captain is already filing a report. When the ship docks, local authorities are waiting. The video, meant for social media glory, has already spread. Within hours, Royal Caribbean issues a statement. Lifetime ban. The man and every friend cheering in that clip are blacklisted. The internet turns him into a meme. News outlets call him the deck jump daredevil. What no one sees on video is how close he came to not surfacing at all. 11 decks up means a fall at nearly 60 miles per hour. Enough to break bones, rupture organs, or knock you unconscious before you hit the surface. Even if you survive, rescue crews must risk themselves to retrieve you. He thought he'd make history, and he did, just not the kind anyone wants. The ocean doesn't care about your clout. Respect the rail, or the sea will teach you why it's there. Now, before we jump from one balcony mistake to another, it's worth saying, some passengers don't need 11 decks to make a bad decision. Sometimes, all it takes is a pair of sunglasses, a bit of ego, and one misplaced reach to turn calm waters into chaos. Then, just as that clip fades from headlines, another one surfaces, proving some lessons at sea never stick. Number 3. The Sunglasses Slip. Icon of the Seas, July 2025. Afternoon sun hits the water like glass. Guests float lazily in the infinity pool. The music thumps, and everything feels perfectly choreographed for a postcard. Then it happens. A pair of designer sunglasses slides off someone's face and lands just beyond the glass wall, resting on the tiny ledge above open air. You can see the thought cross his mind. I can reach it. He plants a hand on the railing, leans forward, and stretches. A couple of bystanders murmur warnings, but his focus narrows to the glinting lenses. He leans farther. His heels lift. Gravity decides the rest. The camera catches the gasp, the blur, the moment his body disappears from the frame. Screams ripple through the pool deck. Security sprints in, guests pull back, and the carefree rhythm of the afternoon dissolves. Fortunately, he's not gone overboard. A maintenance platform sits just below the glass, out of sight from most angles. Crew help him up, shaken but alive. He's taken to medical for checks, and the area clears within minutes. By dinner time, the pool has reopened, but the internet never does. The video racks millions of views before the ship even reaches its next port. Infinity glass is designed to erase boundaries visually, not physically. It's meant for selfies, not stunts. Behind the scenes, every ship has grabber poles and trained crew for dropped items, because no souvenir is worth a fall. The lesson's simple, but it keeps replaying. Never reach where safety barriers begin. A $7 pair of sunglasses isn't worth a headline or a hospital bill. The ocean doesn't forgive curiosity mixed with ego. When the pool reopens, it's calm again. But anyone who saw that slip now watches the edge differently. Some learn by listening, others by falling. Number 4. Stuck in the Sky. It's the kind of shot cruise designers dream about. Clear blue sky on the Norwegian Bliss. Guests cheering as riders plunge through a slide that loops over open ocean. The Ocean Loop's attraction hangs off the side of the ship like a glass ribbon, letting thrill seekers fly out past the hull and back again. It's supposed to be smooth, fast, and foolproof, until one rider stalls halfway through. The September 2025 video starts mid-cheer, then silence. A woman in a black swimsuit is suspended in the clear tube, feet twitching, water still rushing past her. For a few seconds, she's floating between sky and sea, part trapped, part spectacle. From the deck, people shout, "She's stuck!" Someone laughs nervously. Crew members are already moving. What you can't see in the clip is how choreographed the next few minutes are. Slides like this have pressure sensors, evacuation hatches, and trained staff stationed at every curve. One attendant signals to pause dispatch. Another climbs to the access point. Through the transparent acrylic, they make eye contact, calm her down, and guide her toward the upper hatch. A few minutes later, she's standing safely beside the slide, wrapped in a towel and smiling through the adrenaline. The crowd claps, phones out again, this time in relief. The internet calls it terrifying. Engineers call it routine. A stall happens when riders open their arms or drop their legs too soon, slowing the water's push. It's rare, but predictable. The real danger comes from ignoring the safety talk, the part most people tune out. Arms crossed, ankles locked, chin tucked. That 30-second brief is the only thing between thrill and panic. Later, the clip hits TikTok with captions like, "Stuck above the ocean for 5 minutes." Reality? 90 seconds, 0 injuries. But it goes viral anyway, because nothing spreads faster than fear, especially when it's filmed through glass. The next time you hear that safety spiel and think it's boring, remember her. One wrong pose can make the ride feel endless. And on a ship where every second is filmed, even routine turns legendary. Number 5. Furniture overboard. December 2022. It's a freezing night on the Baltic Princess. The wind cuts across the open deck as a small group of passengers decide the rules don't apply to them. A phone camera is already rolling. A man grabs a plastic table, laughs, and starts dragging it toward the railing. A woman yells, "Don't!" but the crowd eggs him on. The table teeters at the edge, then spins into the dark water like a coin disappearing into a bottomless well. The laughter grows bolder. Another chair follows. Splash! Then another. To the group, it's comedy. To everyone else on deck, it's chaos waiting to happen. You can hear someone whisper, "They're going to get kicked off for that," while another bystander backs away with their hands over their mouth. What the video doesn't show is the danger in those seconds. When a heavy object drops from an upper deck, it doesn't fall straight. It's carried by the wind and sucked by the ship's movement. A single chair can smash a lower balcony, injure crew working below, or hit a tender boat alongside. And when it misses everything, it becomes pollution. Cruise chairs don't dissolve. They drift for miles or sink into ecosystems that were never meant to hold them. By morning, the clip had reached social media. Within hours, the passengers were identified, banned, and investigated by local maritime authorities. The story spread faster than the splash ever could. For the people in the video, it was just content. For the cruise line, it was a black mark that made international news. That's the truth behind most viral cruise clips. The camera always captures the fun, never the fines. Every tossed chair or table becomes a symbol of disrespect for the people cleaning, maintaining, and steering a floating city through unpredictable weather. So the next time you're on a windy deck with friends hyping each other up, remember this: the ocean doesn't take jokes lightly. The rail is not a stage. And that epic moment you're filming might just be the one that ends your cruising days for good. Then, just when you think people couldn't top tossing furniture into the ocean, someone finds a new low that doesn't even make it past deck 7. Number 6. The Stairwell no restroom moment. It's just after lunch on a sea day, May 2025. The decks are calm, the pool's packed, and the stairwells echo with flip-flops and laughter. In one of those stairwells, a man stops halfway between deck 6 and deck 7. He looks around, swaying slightly, and makes a choice that instantly becomes internet history. He decides the landing is his restroom. The camera picks it up halfway through. A family walks in on the scene, horrified. A crew member nearby radios for security while another guest starts recording. Within seconds, a uniformed officer is there, calm but firm, telling him to stop. The man's excuses tumble out. "I couldn't find a bathroom. I've been drinking. It's just water." None of it matters. On cruise ships, stairwells aren't side hallways. They're evacuation routes. Every spill, every mess in those spaces triggers a response chain. Crew cordon off the area, glove up, clean, sanitize, and log it as a biohazard. For every person laughing in the comments, 10 others on board are now walking extra flights because someone couldn't make it to the restroom. Security footage doesn't lie. Within the hour, the man's cabin number is confirmed. His key card logs his last bar tab. Guest Services issues a fine to cover cleanup, and by the next port, he's escorted off the ship. Bags packed, access revoked. The official reason? Breach of sanitation policy and public conduct. The unofficial one? Just plain stupidity. Now, when the video hits TikTok, the caption reads, "Caught in the act on a cruise ship." Comments flood in. Disbelief, disgust, and memes. But behind the jokes is a simple truth every cruiser learns. Respect the shared spaces, because every inch of that ship has a purpose. There's a restroom on almost every public deck, near the buffet, near the theater, even behind the pool bar. Every crew member will point you there without judgment. What they don't forgive is someone turning an escape route into a headline. The cleanup crew worked fast. The internet didn't. That stairwell became one of the year's most viral "don't be this guy" moments. A reminder that no matter how high the seas or strong the drink, common sense should always stay on board. Number 7. Chairs in the air. The Carnival Sunrise was returning from Half Moon Cay, June 2025. The deck is alive. Steel drums, families with frozen drinks, and the usual midday heat thick enough to make tempers short. Two men argue over reserved loungers. One claims he saved them. The other says there's no saving on sea days. Voices rise. A crowd starts to gather. And then someone makes the worst possible move. He picks up a chair. The moment freezes for half a heartbeat. Then plastic sails through the air. The first chair smacks against the deck with a sharp crack. Another flies. You can hear people shouting, ducking, grabbing their kids. One woman's drink hits the floor as she shields a stroller. Within seconds, the pool's steel drum soundtrack has been replaced by yelling and the thump of security boots. Trained for this, the guards move fast. They don't shout. They form a line, split the crowd, and escort the men out as phones film from every angle. Bartenders stop service on the spot. Supervisors scan for anyone who joined in, and staff starts sweeping the area for glass. It's calm again within minutes, but the clip has already escaped the ship via Wi-Fi. By the time Carnival Sunrise docks, it's on Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok. Captioned, "Chair Fight at Sea." Cruise lines take violence seriously. Even one thrown object means written reports, fines, and likely disembarkation. When the footage reaches corporate security, both passengers are banned, one permanently, one pending review. Crew later confirmed that no one was injured, but that doesn't matter to policy. The moment a chair left the ground, it stopped being an argument and became a safety breach. Here's the quiet truth. Pool decks are tight spaces designed for movement, not confrontation. Mix heat, alcohol, and ego, and you've got a spark in a fuel tank. The smart move isn't filming, it's stepping away, alerting any uniformed crew member, and letting professionals handle it. In the still frame that circulates online, you can see the arc of a chair mid-flight, the blue horizon in the background. It almost looks cinematic until you remember. Every person in that shot was seconds from serious harm. On a ship, chaos spreads faster than Wi-Fi. One throw can sink your trip, your record, and your future bookings. Number 8. The Juneau Pier Jump. It's mid-morning in Juneau, Alaska, June 2025. Crisp air, glacier shining in the distance. The pier is crowded with passengers snapping photos of the mountains. Then, one woman steps past the barrier, slips off her jacket, and climbs the rail. You can hear a voice behind the camera say, "She's not really gonna," before she jumps. The splash echoes against the hull. For a split second, everyone freezes. Then chaos. Dock workers sprint to the edge. Crews shout down, pointing. Someone throws a life ring. You can hear people yelling, "Call security," as the camera shakes in disbelief. The water here isn't pool blue or forgiving. It's Alaskan harbor water, near freezing, unpredictable, and full of working boats. Within seconds, the cold seizes her muscles. She tries to swim but can't find rhythm. Port police arrive fast, pulling her to a ladder. She's shivering, breathless, and in shock, but alive. The video cuts here. By the time she's wrapped in a blanket, officers are already writing her up. The Port Authority logs it as a safety violation. The cruise line bans her for reckless endangerment. And the clip, now labeled "Pier Jump Gone Wrong," starts bouncing across TikTok. Comments split between disbelief and mockery, but everyone agrees on one thing: she's lucky. Ports aren't playgrounds, they're industrial zones. Beneath those calm-looking docks are thruster currents, sharp barnacles, and prop wash powerful enough to pull a person under. Even tied to port, A cruise ship's moving parts create invisible turbulence that can kill within minutes. To some, it looked like a stunt. To authorities, it's a near disaster. Cold shock sets in under a minute in Alaskan water. Full hypothermia can follow in 5. There's a reason every safety briefing warns: never enter the water without authorization. Her adventure became evidence. Her footage became a cautionary tale. By the next day, the clip had over 1 million views and a case number attached to her name. So here's the takeaway. If you want that cinematic moment, do it safely. There are guided plunges, polar dips, excursions built for exactly that thrill. What happened in Juneau wasn't adventure. It was survival, and survival on a cruise shouldn't be left to luck. Now you've seen how fast one harmless moment turns into a headline. Different ships, same story. One tiny decision, massive ripple. If this saved you from even one expensive mistake, hit like and subscribe. We'll help you avoid the next one before it happens. And if you're ready to cruise smarter, tap the next video on screen. And remember, your voyage is just beginning.